What's going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to my Salamangreat deck profile post Banlist. So disregard the numbers that actually say that Circle is at 1, it's at 2 now, which means that this deck got a small consistency boost. Even though it was already consistent before, we never say no to more consistency. So before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe. Also check me out on Twitch and Instagram, both links will be in the description box below as always. And now let's jump right into it. So as you can see, I'm playing quite a lot of Salamangreat monsters. So 2 Jaguar, this card is really good. It allows the deck to always have infinite gas in the grind game, because you recycle back the resources into your deck, I believe. Yes, into the deck. So either from the graveyard to the main deck or to the extra deck, which means that you can play with basically infinite Sunlight Wolf. I mean, even though the Mirage Talio is at 1, it feels like it's at infinite. So yeah, Jaguar is arguably the best Salamangreat monster out there, with Gazelle, of course. But this card is probably the reason why this deck can play for so long. Now we play Falco, which is a very interesting card. In the graveyard, once it hits the graveyard, it has an effect, and while it already is there, it has another effect, so a trigger effect and an ignition effect. So when it's sent to the graveyard, you can recycle back a Salamangreat spell or trap to your field, not to the hand, so it's even better. I believe that means it cannot get hit by Ghost Bell, and in the graveyard it has again another effect, but this time it's not a trigger effect, rather an ignition effect, as I said. So you can bounce back a Salamangreat monster from your field to the hand, very specifically, and if you do, special summon this card. The "and if you do" is extremely important, it's not an also. So in other words, if you try to bounce back a Veilings from your field to the hand, to the extra deck, it doesn't successfully return it back to the hand, so in other words, it doesn't revive back the Falco. Watch out, because you can still attempt to use its effect, it's just not gonna fully resolve, and a lot of people have tried cheating with this in the past, and if you know your rulings, you're not gonna get cheated on, against, if you are playing against the deck, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, 1 Falco is enough, though. It's a resource card, but it's not like a starter card. Now this is the exact opposite. Well, rather, this card does everything on its own. Gazelle is the best card. It not only special summons itself from the hand, which is already very good, but it's a foolish for literally any Salamangreat card, not just a monster. So you can send your trap cards and your spell cards and recycle them back with Sunlight Wolf. So this card is a no-brainer, by far the best card, and the reason why this is the only Salamangreat monster in the main deck that is at 1. And I'm playing triple Buffalo. This is much better than Debug. Debug randomly loses to so many hand traps, whereas Buffalo doesn't really lose to anything. So if your opponent has Veiler or even Ash, it doesn't hurt Buffalo at all, since you can chain block with it. You can go normal and then link for Veilings, chainlink 1 Buffalo, and then chainlink 2 the Veilings, and your opponent can only ash the last card in the chainlink. So if he wants to ash, he's gonna have to ash the very weak Search from Veilings, but not the kind of the trade-in effect of Buffalo, if that makes any sense. So discard 1 Cyberus monster, and if you do, draw 2 cards, and the Salamangreat monsters are just as good, if not sometimes even better, in the graveyard than they are in the hand, and that's the reason why this deck snowballs advantage at the speed of light, because you always trade cards from your hand into the graveyard for more cards, and you are always playing with like 5 cards in your graveyard when you start your turn. So sometimes in like super simplified game state, with literally just nothing, you can win and set up like gigantic boards. Triple Spinny, this card is very good, and by the way, this card is not only one of the best ways to make Mirage Talio to summon Gazelle when your hand is not that great, but it also has a very, very good in-hand effect, so you can discard it and then boost the attack of a monster on the field by 500 if you control a Salamangreat card. So in other words, you can boost the attack of Jaguar all the way to 23, and the reason why this matters is because El Shaddai Winda is 2200 attack. So if you have Jaguar and Spinny, you can already out El Shaddai Winda. So just like that, super easy, super simple, 2-card combo. You jump over, and then main phase 2, you make Access Code Talker, destroy the the Schism, and you're good to go. You can play after that. Triple Foxy, this card has to be played at 3 in a format where Skill Drain, there can only be 1, and other very fun and interactive continuous trap cards are being played. This card has a nasty graveyard effect, and if you are playing a lot of Salamangreat cards, you can also use the on-field effect in order to excavate 3 cards from the top of your deck and add 1 of the Salamangreat cards. However, if you do that, you cannot use the other effect in the graveyard. It is also the same with Salamangreat Falco. You have to choose 1 effect of the 2, and you can only use it once per turn. So it's very similar to Cyber Dragon Core, how you can't use both the on-field effect to like search a Cyber Spell and Trap, and the Graveyard effect to summon a monster from the deck. Now for the hand traps, I'm playing 12, so 3 Ash, 3 DD Crow, 3 Valor, and 3 Imperm. Valor and Imperm are essentially kind of identical, they kind of fulfill the same role. Ash is overpowered because you can recycle it back with Sunlight Wolf, so it's always going to be played in the deck. Fire Attribute is just insane in this deck. And the DD Crow is actually an interesting one. When you are playing against Brave Phantom Knight, what you can do is that your opponent goes like, destroy the Artifact Scythe either with Break Sword or Phoenix Enforcer, and then tries to revive back the Scythe, and you go DD Crow, banish it. So not only can you draw this hand trap for turn, and it actually achieves something, but on top of that, against Eldritch and stuff like that, it still has some form of value. So it's a card that is universally very good. All it sucks against would be Flunderies, but that's pretty much all I can think of. And now for the spell cards, one Pot of Desires because it is now at 1. Otherwise, I would be playing multiples. This card is very good in this deck. Triple Silent Mining, Signet Mining, very, very good card. Again, discarding a card from your hand, or rather send one card from your hand to the grave as a cost, matters because if you're under D-Shifter, you can't use this. Just to search a Cyberus monster is absolutely fantastic. Triple Cosmic Cyclone, I love this card so much. You can banish Artifact Scythe, you can banish Floodgates. It's just incredible. It's arguably better than a hand trap. That's the reason why Cosmic Cyclone has to be played. You can go first and then set it, and it acts as an additional trap card. Call by the Grave, again, this card can break board, prevent boards from being, like, threatening. You can banish Artifact Scythe again, so many cards that are anti-Artifact Scythe. This deck is a very good meta call. I want to say if you want to destroy Phantom Knight, and it's usually very consistent, so you can rely on it for a long tournament because you can play a lot of hand traps, and you only need like 2 cards to be able to play, so pretty good. And then 2 Circle, double Whale. You don't want to play 3 because I think 3 will become like way too bricky. 1 Sanctuary, of course. Don't be that guy that plays freaking 3 Sanctuary Terraforming in Metaverse and like set rotation. And yeah, for the trap cards, only 1 Rage, 1 Roar, and like I said, the other hand trap. So that's pretty much it for the main deck. 40 cards, super consistent. Now for the extra deck, I am playing, of course, the Zeus, Baguska, Dweller, and Mirage Talio. I think Downward Magician could maybe make sense, but you're always trying to detach a material, so I don't know if it makes like that much sense actually. If your Mirage Talio gets stopped, at least you can go Battle Phase and then make Zeus, so it's not too bad. And then you don't have to play necessarily both Xyz. I just want to have as many options as possible. I think Dweller is way too good in a format where the top 2 best decks, maybe top 2, I don't know, very debatable, would be like Phantom Knight and Eldritch. Both decks lose very hard to Dweller, but Baguska, even in attack position, is very, very, very good, so don't underestimate Baguska at all. And then for the Link Monster, access code Appaloosa, Update Jammer, Phoenix, triple Sunlight Wolf, Splash Mage, triple Veilings. For the most part, all these cards are super self-explanatory and obvious, except maybe Appaloosa and the fact that I'm not playing Transcode Talker. Transcode is just not needed. You can already OTK with 2 cards without Transcode, so I think it's just like icing on the cake, but definitely not something that you need. And the Appaloosa is there so your follow-up can safely win through hand traps like Nibiru and stuff like that. Or maybe just make more negates when you cannot really go for the kill. So that's it for the extra deck, and now for the side deck, I'm playing 3 Artifact Lancia. Again, this card destroys so many decks like Virtual World, Phantom Knights, etc. It's just way too good. Triple Drone and Logbird, very good against combo decks in general. And then Duster, Twin, Triple Evenly, Red Reboot against back row decks. So typically, you want to have like 6 anti-back row cards, so you can smoothly swap your Valor and Imperm for them, and then you get to keep like DD Crow and stuff like that, because honestly, even against most back row decks, DD Crow is still respectable. And Ash is very good. It negates like pot cards, which is always really good. And we're already main decking Cosmic Cyclone, so that's why obviously we didn't really need like that much else. But yeah. And then 3 Goes and Match. This is really probably the only card that you actually need in the side deck when you're going first, because even going second, it can be very good against a lot of decks. So that's pretty much it for my Salamangreat deck profile. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.